Every CEO's journey has its Everest. The moments when the path forward feels steep, uncertain, and alone. With Sherpa CEO coaching, you don't climb alone. Our experienced coaches are your guides, helping you break through barriers, sharpen your strategy, strengthen your leadership, and build a team that can carry you higher. With tailored one-on-one coaching, strategic planning, and real accountability, your summit is within reach. Sherpa CEO Coaching, your guide to confidence, clarity, and extraordinary business growth. Get coached and learn more at sherpaceo.com.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey with your host, Dave Westcott. The Entrepreneurial Journey is a weekly podcast that streams live every Tuesday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific on Dave's YouTube channel and LinkedIn profile. Now here's Dave with this week's episode.
Good morning and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey. I'm your host, Dave Westcott, and I have with me this morning special guest Fern Chan, CEO and founder of Fern Chan Ventures. Good morning, Fern. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Oh my God, it sounds so officious when you say it like that.
You know, it's got to be official to kick the show off right. Anything else is uncivilized. I love your background.
That's just what I registered for the LLC because it just had to sound, legit, right? But it's like when I hear it, I'm like, gosh.
The LLC does make it real. It's no more cash jobs, no more under the table. Got to pay taxes. Got to do things the right way.
Got to pay that damn 3% stripe fee. I get it.
That's, and it's the nickel and diming on the fees that drive you crazy as an entrepreneur.
It sure is, but it's part of the journey, isn't it? There are some things that they don't tell you, like you go into it with the enthusiasm and passion of what you want to share with the world, and then you get hit with all the business shit. You're like, oh.
Why did I do this?
There's always something I find in those situations where I'm like, oh, what didn't I know before as an entrepreneur that I know now? And so I like, what are these PITAs, these pain in the asses things that I'm now like turning into opportunities? So those stripe fees are a pain in the ass, but you can actually get it back from your taxes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I love the background. I love the book, How Not to Suck at Presentations. That's a grabber right from the start.
You got it. See, I'm glad you picked that up. So that is like a massive pattern interrupt, right? When I have my book like on display, people just see the word suck and they just go, wait. So it's like their brain is like completely snapped out of a stupor because they go, wait, why is that word so big? And then they read the rest and go, oh my God, yeah, I don't want to suck at presentations, but I probably do. They just won't say it out loud.
Presentations are tough.
It is. It's so much of it is rooted in how we communicate. But I think with the advent of, PowerPoint and all these things that made things so much easier to share your knowledge, we got to this point of oversharing too much information where we all got killed by these bullet points. And I'm like, this is not a teleprompter, people, but people treat it as such. I'm sure we've all sat through presentations where it's just bullet points after bullet points, and then the presenter just reads through the slides. And it's like, if you're just going to read from the slides, then why do I need you for?
Yeah.
Right. It's lost. It's what it's supposed to be. Like for me, when I think about presenting, any visual aid is just that. It's a visual aid because God forbid if tech goes wrong, and they usually do, these tech gremlins like to just run amok sometimes and go, ooh,
let's mess them up.
Let's mess them up. We're not going to have any visuals. Now what are you going to do, right? What can you do when you are on stage in that hot seat, so to speak, and your visuals aren't there, your slides aren't there? Like you still have 20 minutes.
You turn a little red. You turn a little red, and you feel a little heat.
A little bit.
Your heart rate goes up on your iWatch, and you might not make it.
Well, a true professional, like somebody. Here's the thing: don't get on stage if you don't know your shit to talk about it, right? So you should just know it well enough that should anything go wrong, you know your subject matter. Do not go on if you cannot talk about it without your slides, because I find like, you know what? I had a wonderful presentation to show you all these fancy things, but it's not going to work. So I'm just going to pivot this to have a conversation with you and tell you some of these amazing things, or just tell some stories of what happened, which is a perfect example of why we don't have slides, right? So again, how can you pivot on the moment and prepare for these emergencies? Because I think that also goes to the heart of how well you communicate when things don't go as planned.
Which is life every single day.
All the time.
I love this catch line, be the presenter that everyone remembers. How do you do that? Are there some tips or tricks that you're focusing on? One or two things that make you the presenter that everyone remembers?
So I definitely use a few things in my arsenal that I share, and this is what I coach my clients as well. So first things first, I always go for a very unconventional opening. Usually most people who get up to speak, I don't know why they do it, but they tend to do this. It's like, hi, my name is Fern. I'm a communication coach, and today I'm going to talk to you about this, and I have my degree from so-and-so. And I'm like, who gives a shit? We don't know you. We don't care about that. You are wasting precious seconds up front at the beginning when you have a captive audience. They're already there to say, what do you have to say that's going to keep me want to, keep on listening to what you have to say. So if you waste those precious seconds by introducing who you are and your backstory and how you got all that, I'm like, what you need to say to get their attention is I like to either open up with a really shocking statement or a shocking statistic or something that just says like, I'm going to tell you something. The Bible lied to you. I'm going to tell you why. Like if for you faith-fearing, for you who have faith, if I said that like the Bible lied to me, did I just not get your attention? Right? Or when I opened my TED Talk, what I said was, I never thought I'd take my clothes off in front of strangers. Hey, what? Like the head whips at those moments. It's like, you took your clothes off. So it opens a loop. And that's what you want to do. You want to open a loop in your audience's mind so they're going to go, I need to hear more of this. Then you layer it with stories. Storytelling is one of the richest ways to get people to listen to you and remember what you say. So for me, these are like, simple things that we do all the time, but we just don't think, how can we do this in business? How can we do it in just everyday communication? Because it's like those magic words when we say, let me tell you a story. Our brains are primed to listen to stories. It's like a sense-making device. So when we hear stories, our mind's going, oh, ooh, right? There are things that lights up in our sensory cortex that then tells us, oh, I'm going somewhere with this. We put ourselves in the hero seat, right? We are usually, when we hear a story, think of ourselves as the protagonist. We are the main character. We are rarely the victim. We are rarely the villain. Very few people think that way anyway, because they want to save the day. At the end of the day, they want to know how is this going to end, right? Hopefully it's not one of those tragedies where everybody dies, nobody gets the happy ending, but no. How do we save the day, right? Something happens that upset the apple cart, typical Star Wars type. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I have a lot of references to Star Wars. Like, just think, right? If you were Luke Skywalker and you were just stuck, in the farm, but you are craving for adventure, and then one day you get that opportunity. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to take it, right? I'm going to go find Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so it's like, this farm boy, literally, out in the desert, finally gets to go and join, all the other fighter pilots to save the galaxy from the dark force. And then he finds out who his father is. No. So it's like emotions. You want to tie in things that also make people feel something. And that's the key to storytelling. Like, people got to feel it, because people won't remember. This is like Maya Angelou. People won't remember what you did. They won't remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So make them feel something, even if it's the pain. Describe what it's like to, have the embarrassment of losing your pasty in the middle of your burlesque performance, and you're like standing there like, oh my God, but the show has to go on, and you're dying of embarrassment, or the feeling of complete anxiety where, oh shit, my slides just went down, your pits are starting to sweat, you're feeling your heart racing. You describe these things, and guess what? Your audience is going to feel it too, right?
Yeah.
With you and have that sense of empathy. This is how you hook them, because they're going to go, oh man, whew. Now you come through the other side, and there's like the sweet relief, right? So again, the magic of storytelling, nothing that we don't already know how to do. We just don't think about using it in this way.
All right, you did a great job explaining that. I'm totally locked in. There's like 5 stories I want to hear already.
Open loops.
There you go. You got all these loops running around. I think it's a great thing. So in the bio, one of the things that I really liked was it said you ditched your 9-to-5 in higher education to build a business around the one thing that people kept asking you to do. Teach them how to walk into any room, connect with everyone in it, and make it theirs. Now, if I go into a room, I'm more of the kind of person who's just going to kind of sit back at a table and not talk to anybody. I hate going into rooms. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs are like this. That really stands out to me. How do you do that?
I know. And, it's one of those things that as an entrepreneur, if you don't get out there and at least connect with people, you're not going to have a thriving business. And this is another motto that I have. You don't ask, you don't get.
Yep.
So you do have to and I know, like, oh, my husband is the biggest introvert. He hates peopling. Lord knows how he married somebody like me who's on the opposite end of the chart. Right? But it's one of those things that how can I just connect with one person and talk to that person? And you're not talking to like a massive amount of people. Right? Sometimes you will connect with those who are closest to you, more like you, versus like a loudmouth like myself. I don't want everybody to be like me. Like I have my style of speaking, and it doesn't resonate with everybody, and that's okay. And that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. You can't serve everybody. The way you do it in your way is your special sauce, and somebody is going to resonate, whether they're that shy person that sees another shy person doing their thing, and they're going to go, oh man, I really admire you doing that. How are you doing it? And they will resonate with you versus like, ooh, she's too much for me. And that's okay, right? You want to repel the people who do not jibe with you. So
I like that.
when you want to, so when you're connecting with people, right, you don't have to affect the whole room. You just need to make that connection that you can then say, hey, let's have more of a conversation and see where this goes and see how I can serve you in a way that will help you, move forward in your career, like whatever it is, right? So they can see that you have something to offer.
I love it. So if you're that, that introvert and you're a coach too, right? From what you do. Yes. So you coach people, you work with them. So if you're coaching someone who's that introvert and they're shy in the room and they don't want to talk to people, and I think I missed exactly what you said, but I think you said, for those of us who don't like peopling.
Yeah.
Right? I love that. Yes. That's a great line. For those of us who don't like peopling, what does that conversation starter look like? How do you help them walk up to that person and start the conversation, and what do they say, and how do you walk through that?
So this is something I also learned when I was training law enforcement officers in crisis communication, and I'm talking NYPD officers, right? Where like they are super resistant to listening to anybody who's not a cop telling them what to do. But this is like, I'm going to teach you something so you can get the buy-in from somebody who's in crisis. So if you want to get this person who is ranting and raving mad right now because they have lost all logic in their brain and they are just about to throw themselves off the ledge, you can't say, step back from the ledge, drop your knife. What is that going to do? You're amplifying and escalating emotions when they're already up here, right? So it's a matter of also, where can I meet this person where they're at, but also brings in one of the skills that I think we have lost as humans is active listening. Be a listener. So when you So when you are going into these situations, you are also like seeing what's happening around you. You're listening to the words that they're using, the body language, the tone, and all those things. So think of yourself as being like a detective or an armchair anthropologist, if that suits you better. But I also think like when you're going into networking situations, listen to what people are saying, right? If you are afraid to just say, hi, my name is Fern, and introduce yourself first. So, you might want to just listen to somebody's conversation and then say, wow, that is such an interesting insight you offered. I really like what you said about. I feel that way too. I'm so awkward around people. I really resonate with that. Like people love hearing or feeling validated. So when you can quote something they said back, they're like, oh, she heard what I said. That's like the ultimate compliment you don't even realize, because we are so invested in what we're going to say next. It's about me. But when you listen,
I love that.
Really listen, right? It's like, wow, that what you just said. And then you go back to a conversation later and it's like, you know what? You mentioned your dog was sick. How's your dog now? These are things like real human moments that so many of us have lost because we just want to say what we want to say or prepare a response versus tuning in first.
You made that amazingly simple. I love it. From coaching the NYPD, who I couldn't imagine that kind of crisis, listening to what they're saying, focus on active listening. Listen to what those people are saying, repeat it back to them, share it with them what they said, give them the ultimate compliment, open the conversation. So no matter where you are in that spectrum, you can walk into a room, you can connect with 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, you can get your job done, and you can move on. Because like you said, you have to connect. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
I love it.
I always also like to think, also as a mompreneur, I have 2 little ones, looking at my children, like, how are you? Be curious, because, kids can drive you so damn crazy with their 7 levels of why.
Yep.
To do something why. But there's an innate curiosity that kids have that I don't know what happens as they become adults. We lose it.
Right? Yeah, we do.
Stop asking questions versus like, oh, why is that? Right?
Yeah.
Do we just think that we know everything?
Yeah.
Versus saying, that is so interesting. Tell me more. And those 3 more other words that are like music to one's ears, right? Tell me more. Like people want to sing along with you, like, does he have a car? Whatever that is. Like we say, oh, tell me more. It's an invitation.
Yep.
And if you've already made that connection to make that person feel validated because, you said something that resonated, it's like, oh my God, I love what you said about that. Same thing if you are on social media or on LinkedIn or, if somebody posts something, don't just drop a like and say nothing. You're going to get more notice if you say, love what you said about that. This really resonated, or, I found that such an interesting thing. Add some more dimension to your comment. What is it that made you pause and like that comment? Or if you want to be a bit more, I'm gonna say controversial, you could say like, oh, well, I have a differing opinion on that. But I like what you said. It made me think about this. So you can always be nice on someone's comment. And guess what? You get to hijack that person's feed.
Yeah. You do.
Other people who read it go, wow, what a thoughtful comment. I hate people just go, bravo. I'm like, well, that doesn't add anything.
Right.
What did you like about what I said that made you go, bravo, right? What made you want to give me such kudos that, deserves that sort of, compliment? Tell me. Love to know.
Yeah, that's cool. You're putting a little oomph into it. You're putting a little bit of something into it. You're giving a little bit of energy, possibly hijacking the post. I love how you do that. Now, you mentioned you're a mompreneur. And that means you know how to juggle everything and still show up with presence and power. How do you do that?
This is when you step into, I believe, your authentic self, whether that means I'm tired, people. I just had to sit through, do my working day within the school hours, pick up my kids. Now I'm going to sit down and do their damn fourth grade homework and explain long division to my daughter that I haven't done in like 40 years. Right? And I don't have the brains for it. So some of it is just being honest, because relatability as an entrepreneur is key. Right? People sometimes don't want to see the most polished. They love the messy middle. And Lord knows being a parent is messy as heck. I don't have all the answers sorted out. I'm tired, but I still got to show up for my kids. And it's okay to show some of that. So I think for me, this is just me.
Yeah.
Like, how do you be to have that presence and power? It's like to be so honest about some of this. Like, look, I don't have all my shit sorted out, but I have to be there for my kids. And if it means 100% is the 20% that I can give, that's all I got. And admit some of these things, right? I think the biggest things that we do a disservice to others is when we're like, oh, it has to be perfect before I show this. I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be. I'd rather it be done. I'd rather you see me at the hairdresser's touching up my roots and hair in tinfoil because, one, becomes a marketing write-off. But two, it's also like, this is what I have to do to prepare.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things that is part of what I do now. So my kids see it. It's like, how are you living your life in the most authentic way that also brings in how you live your life every day? Now, this is not going to be for everybody. They might not want to bring in their kids. They want to show all that. I'm like, well, I'm cool with that. But, again, as I'm branding myself as, like you said, a mompreneur, it's like, I'm a mom. This is what I do. I gave up a 6-figure salary in a very secure job to do the thing that I want to do because I want my kids to see me going after my dreams.
I love that.
Like, not answering to somebody else dictating how I spend my time and how I earn my money. That's how daddy earns his money, and it's okay. So they can see how daddy does it. And that's cool, right? They get to see both parts. Neither is right or wrong. I've just done the 9-to-5, the W-2 for a good chunk of my adult life. And now I'm betting on myself. I'm saying like, look, if I've made money for higher education institutions for so many years, using my mouth, using my skills as a communicator, why the hell am I not doing this for myself?
Absolutely.
So this is where I'm going to back myself, right? And I know there's so much fear, but people's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, yes, there is the fear. Being an entrepreneur is not a guaranteed thing. We all know there are months where it's like, oh shit, we're going to have to sell some shares, or like, we're going to have to.
Yeah. Got to dig deep.
I'm going to have to pay this bill a bit later, or I'm just going to take the hit and pay the late fee until this payment comes in, whatever that is. But, I think it's all part of the journey, and it's not for everyone.
You're right. It's not for everyone.
Anybody who tells you that you're going to make it, I think is doing you a disservice.
I think that's 100% true.
Yeah.
So you took this, I love what you said, bet on you. You're going to bet on you. That's what you're going to focus on. You got to dig deep on that entrepreneurial journey. You got to bet on you. What was the moment? Was there a dawning moment? Like, I don't know, you're in the KFC drive-through line and you say, I'm done with this 9-to-5. I'm no longer working for these people. I'm no longer building someone's empire, someone's dream, someone's system. What was that lightning bolt that hit you that said, I'm going out on my own?
I remember that day. It was a meeting I had with my supervisor. It was basically, it's one of those things where they trying to like be very sly about it, but I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You want to bring in somebody else above me to do my job and throw more money at this problem when you haven't actually gone with the suggestions I have to actually make it better. So you're going to pay somebody else to do my job when you could have actually given me the support that I needed to do my job. So you're throwing money in the wrong problem. So that for me was like the ultimate slap in the face. So it's like, okay. So for me, that was like the lightning bolt moment that said, you don't value me enough in all that I've contributed, because now your solution is to bring somebody else who has no idea about the culture and the work that we do, but you just think that they can solve this problem. Like, okay. I'm like, sure. And the nerve they asked me to write the damn job description. I'm like, Oh, sure. Describe the job that I do, so you can go find this person to do my job, and then train up this person to take over as you shoot me out the door. Yeah, I see where this is going. So again, right? I get institutions have to make certain decisions, and
Yep.
that's fine. And I think this all happened just before COVID had hit. So when COVID did hit, a lot of things happened. And then after the after effects of that, I think it was just the universe telling me, okay, Fern, I think it's time for you to, you know, burn your safety boats and just swim for the island.
And you did
Because
it.
sometimes we hang on to that safety net, thinking, oh, so we're dabbling, right? We got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We're not completely out. But when then when your back's against the wall, like this is like balls to the wall moment. You gotta swim or you're gonna sink. So what are you gonna do? Are you
Swim.
gonna start kicking? I don't care if you got a doggy paddle. Start moving, because staying stuck is no good either. I mean, I know so many people who are stuck in their soul-sucking jobs because they're in it because of the benefits. It's like, oh, I need it for the health insurance. I'm like, it's like the golden handcuffs, and it kills me.
Right.
It's like, yes, but it's killing you. It's killing your soul. You're doing this because you need the health benefits, but have you thought about what it might be like for your mental health and everything else if you did something else that didn't suck your soul dry and gave you so much stress? They don't want to hear it because it's too scary. It's too scary in this world. And like I said, not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, right? So if you find yourself in that situation, try a side hustle. See if you can, do this on your own and have the security of your 9 to 5. Try the side hustle until you can grow.
Was it
this into
scary for
something
you?
and leave it. Oh shit, yeah. I'm not gonna say it wasn't scary. I mean, oh my God, to get to the point where it's like, okay, this is it. There's no steady paycheck coming in. I'm not gonna see $6,000 every 2 weeks. It's like shit.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Like, what am I gonna do? Like, and you gotta figure it out. It's like, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Dave. Like being an entrepreneur is like you're building the plane as you fly.
Yeah. It's true.
And you pray you don't need to use your
Parachute. That's right. So what was the first thing you did when you decided you were going to go out? Because, I mean, you didn't go into something that everybody goes into, right? Author, educator, speaker. You wrote a book, you coach, you speak, you teach people to connect. I mean, when you're looking at that and you're sitting down at the table, I mean, where do you even start? That's tough.
So it's an evolution, but I think it goes back to honing in on skills that you naturally have that you can do in your sleep. Where I call this if I woke you up at 3 a.m. in the morning to say, oh, tell me your top 3 things about this topic, you can still do it half asleep, like,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
like, oh my God. Right. So that's like your innate special sauce that you can offer even at 3 o'clock in the morning, half asleep. Is like, shit, I can teach this right in my sleep. And
Yep.
people say I can teach this in my sleep. This is what I mean. What can you teach in your sleep that is so natural for you? And the other thing is, think about, what do people come to you for all the time? Because there's a reason they come to you. You've solved this specific problem, right? So start charging for it. So for me, prior to this, I was in higher education. And I was, mired in a lot of death by PowerPoint presentations where it's like, oh, Lord, is this another 20 years of research of which I'm going to have to sit through in 50 minutes where they cram everything in?
Yep.
And it's like overload of information. And I just feel like that is such a waste of time because you've lost an audience that probably genuinely wanted to hear what you had to say, but you didn't leave an impact. Right?
What
that's
should
a
we do
huge thing for
instead?
me. Cut out half the shit.
Cut it out.
Give people just enough. Like, that saying where you give them a slice so they want the loaf. Give them the slice. Give them a taste of what it is so they want to know more, because then you're going to create more interest, saying, wow, love what you said. Can you expand on it a little bit more? But I think for me, right, I wrote this book also partly out of frustration. Just prior to COVID, actually, I was at a conference and I just I was suffering through this terrible keynote, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to escape. I'm looking around and I'm in the front row. I'm trapped in this PowerPoint purgatory. I'm like, oh Lord. And I'm like, how much did they pay this awful speaker? Like, we can't go anywhere. Nobody's learning anything. And so I said to my mind, we can do better. But I will say there was a self-reflection point when I sort of thought to myself, am I doing the same thing? Right? Because, I am not going to be high and mighty and say, you all suck at presentation. I'm like, oh, no, I used to suck too. I used to be a death by PowerPoint. So I know, like, I shouldn't do this anymore because we just follow bad examples and perpetuate it, thinking like this is the way it has always been done. And so we continue doing it before we actually question and say, well, is it the best way for us to do it this way? Right? So I think, so when I first wrote this book, it was like, it was like hey, here's how we can do things better. Here's what I've learned. And here are some of the things that I'm just going to share for you. And then I'm like, let me create a course from this because it was the most natural thing. People would say, do you have a course, based on this? I'm like, sure. Let me turn the chapters of my book into a course. Easy enough. Do that. And then people want a little bit more. It's like, okay, well, can you do some consultations? Can you do a little bit of coaching with this? So it's like, people learn differently. Like you can read a book or you can watch it on video. But if you want like somebody to apply it to what you want to do, it's like, let me look at your presentation and let me see how you're communicating this information. I think you can add this. So, sometimes I do presentation audits. I look at it and go, okay, I can tell you that, your backstory is too damn long. We need to cut 80% of your backstory because right now people don't give a shit of who you are until you've proven to me what problem you're gonna help me solve. Then I might care about who you are. Put that in a lot later. So for me, it's like some of these things that naturally came out of first writing the book and then thinking, what can I do more? So it becomes an asset. It becomes part of your ecosystem of what you can turn one asset into multiple things to grow your business. So, and that's for me as also an easy thing, easier. I shouldn't say that, right? The knowledge industry. What can you monetize between your ears? Because kudos to people who are bakers and creators and like actually have a physical product. Love it. I am not that talented, but but I have ideas. I have things I can teach you. So what skill sets do you have that you can impart to others that you can monetize? And don't think that nobody needs it, right? So I think, a lot of people also minimize. Now, I'm saying it has to be a skill. It can't just be sitting down watching TV 24/7, right? That is not a skill set. What is it that you can help somebody do that gives some transformation so they have a improvement, like a before and after.
Yeah.
Right. Where you can actually say,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So what's the most counterintuitive advice that you give your clients about presentations that actually works?
Well, the first thing is definitely the introduction. I'm like, let me see your intro. And I'm like, don't introduce yourself. Most likely someone's already introduced you. So why are you saying it twice? Because that's usually that's the first thing they say, right? Most people who get up and deliver presentations, whatever, usually an MC, so like, and now from so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da, they ask you for a bio for a reason. Yeah. Because somebody's going to read it. So why go up there and rehash the same thing? Wasted opportunity. The other thing I will say too is like, ditch the bullet points. And I know it kills people when I say this. I'm like, I believe that if you are going to have bullet points, be very, very sparing about it. I'm a one concept per slide person. So my slides are either big ass imagery or one word or one sentence, or if I have to have multiple sentences, it'll have to be a speak and reveal, because then people start reading everything and they're not listening to you anymore. So those are some of the things that I tell, like, let me see how many letters, signs. I mean, how text heavy is this? And are you really using it more like a teleprompter? Because then people like writing furiously, and then as you're talking, wait, go back. I'm like, then you've lost your flow.
I like it. So we're cutting out the bullet points. We're stop introducing ourselves. We're saying something crazy like, the first time I took my clothes off in front of strangers, I
learned the most important thing about business communication.
And then
you were an entrepreneur,
bam.
And you heard that. It's like, oh shit. Like, what was it? What did she learn about taking her clothes off that, reflects in business communication? Right. And the other thing is, I go back to storytelling. That's like that's the hill I'm going to die on.
Storytelling. I love the storytelling, right? I do what you love. You said there, it really connects with people. It ties everything together. It really draws, everything into one space. And I think that's pretty critical. So what does a life in the day of Fern Chan look like? What do you enjoy most? What part of your business do you love the most? What is the biggest focus that you have today?
Well, actually, I'm just preparing for my workshop on Thursday. So that's a big focus. Just like, I say this is going to be somewhat ironic, finishing the slides. But in this sense, I'm doing it as a teaching tool. So I have it to teach, not to speak as a keynote. So those are two separate things that,
Sure.
If I'm doing a keynote delivering it, it will be more like a conversation. I'm just going to tell you lots of stories where you're going to be listening versus looking at my slide deck. But teaching is where I use it as like a tool. So that's what I'm doing right now. A day in the life of Fern Chan wakes up very early in the morning because I'm like, mama bear time where it's a 5 a.m. wake up call. I, get up, brush my teeth, do some of the morning reflection that I have. And then I go into like my zone. Like, what can I do before the kids interrupt for like breakfast, getting ready for school. And I am very blessed that my husband takes care of that. He will get the kids fed, get them ready for school. Then I just put on my clothes, walk them to school. And then at 3 p.m., I go pick them up, right? So in between school hours. So I try to run my business within school hours. That's the trade-off, right? Being a mompreneur, it's like, hey, can I run my business between these hours? And it's good to have these constraints because otherwise, how many of us fall into the trap of like working after hours? Once the kids come, I'm going to still keep working. I'm going to keep doing. It's like you gave up the 9 to 5 to spend the time with the kid. Well, I did anyway. So I can be a more present parent. That doesn't make me a more patient parent. Work in progress. Work in progress, right? But to not miss these things, like to not miss those spring concerts where they're playing Hot Cross Buns on the recorder for the umpteenth time. But okay, honey, I'm going to cheer you up because you put in the effort. So those moments that the kids will remember, right? So for me, that's the trade-off. Like, how I want to run the business within the school hours best as I can, not saying it works all the time, and then still be a present parent for my kids.
I love it. Do your kids love Star Wars too?
Not so much. They're like in K-pop world right now, like which kind of kills my Chinese blood a little bit. But it's like, so yeah, I think eventually my daughter's is getting into Harry Potter. So eventually we will indoctrinate her into the world of Star Wars. My husband's more of a Trekkie. It's okay. I accept that. We name our son Tiberius not because of Captain James T. Kirk, but it's if those who are Star Trek fans will know, the significance of that name. So,
all right, that's exciting. So we're into the sci-fi world. What is it? What is it that you love about Star Wars?
Oh my God, I think it's just the ultimate storytelling, right? That story, the hero's journey, and all of that. But for me, it's just so rich with things I can use for my book, for my course. So I have a C3PO formula that helps you hone in your messaging. I have the Jedi code for presentations where, if you're going to do a presentation, you're going to take it on the journey, right? What is that wonderful experience that you want them to have, and then the destination, and then the impact that you want. So I use this really rich world of Star Wars, but also pop culture. Like, there's a few of us who haven't seen a Star Wars movie, but I won't give you shade. But the wealth of us who have. This also speaks to probably my generation of people. Hello, Gen Xers. And so they will get these references.
Yeah.
The younger ones, I'm like, oh, yeah. You'd be surprised. So sometimes I even when I introduced myself to you this morning, I said, yeah, it's like Fern like the leaf and Chan like Jackie. There are some people who go, "Who's Jackie Chan?" I'm like, "Oh Lord, have mercy. You are too young. If you do not know who
I love Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan.
A lot of people know who that is, right? But sometimes it's like, oh dear, how old? What year were you born? 2010. Oh.
2010. They're still a baby in 2010.
Still babies. Yeah, or even early 2000. I'm like, you're still a baby.
That's right. They're still babies. Okay, so not to go too far down the Star Wars rabbit hole, but I was at Disneyland for Star Wars night, where everybody, they dress up in all these characters, and that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And last night, I just happened to be doom scrolling for about 15 minutes on Instagram, which I never typically do, but I saw a lot of Star Wars AI videos that people are making, these crazy AI videos with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. They look kind of cool. I'm just going to say they look kind of cool. I don't know that I like the whole thing that they're twisting it up, but it looks kind of cool.
I know. I'm a little torn about that. I mean, like, there's no doubt that AI is here to stay. I mean, I use AI too, but I don't use it to the point that it substitutes my humanity. Like, my writing is still mine. I wrote my book pre-AI. So for me, these are still words and all that. Now books come out and you have to disclaim whether you're using AI. Like, did it help you write the book? Because
really,
then you're just, yeah. So for me, it's like, oh, I'm glad I still use, like, my human intelligence. The artificial intelligence just supplement, right? But you don't want to farm out so much. So for me, when I sort of think like, that's so cool, but it also takes it away from being real. Like, I dressed up as Princess Leia at my law school ball, 20-something, a long time ago, right? And that was real, right? Like, there's no AI in this. I made those damn golden bikinis out of shoulder pads. It was just one of those crazy things that you do because it's the real ingenuity that you have and the creativity that you would do that you can't use AI to substitute. So there's that part, but I get the convenience and the speed of it when you do use AI, because people think it's cool, but it's like, but is it real anymore? And I think it will swing back, right? People are going to want more real versus like seeing so much AI generated content.
Where do you see?
I don't care that you see my wrinkles.
Where do you see AI actually helping someone in business? What is there a place that you see that there's a need for it today as an entrepreneur?
I mean, for sure. I mean, it cuts down on so much time in terms of thinking of research.
Yeah.
Right? If you're thinking about, like, what are the common pains that people are having? So if you're doing your research on the typical ideal client avatar, like everybody does, like who is it that you're speaking to? What are those common pains that they're experiencing? Like, what are they staying up at night wondering, that you can then speak to those things? So if you're stuck on words, like for me, AI is a helpful way to think of content generation, to think, oh, here's a problem that a lot of people see. How do I now solve that problem in my own way? Like, how would I manage this, right? Versus like letting AI spit out something that you can tell. Because it's so formulaic,
Right.
Like, oh, that it's generated, versus like, look, this is like real talk. What would happen that I've done or didn't do, or I tried and I failed. So that's why I think, when you're authentic in that sense, where they are seeing it as a hot mess and you didn't get this done and your launch failed, or you did something, only one person showed up for your thing, like, what is that lesson that you can impart? Because I feel like that will be also, well, people will go, well, that's real life, right? We don't want all the AI generated stuff all the time, because that's fantasy world, which is amazing, but we are rooted in reality, and AI ain't going to pay the bills most of the time. It will help speed things, right? So I think for me, I would use it to do lead content. Are there some things that it can help automate? For sure. So many things that, you would take hours to do, you can now, with a few prompts and a click of a button, reduce all that time down. But it's still going to take you as the human to weed through it to make sure there's nothing that, that's not untrue or made up, right? Because they do hallucinate. And if you just take it on the first go, that sounds good. I'm like, no, keep going.
That's right.
Questions.
That's right. You don't want it to write the PowerPoint with the bullet points that you get up and present on in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
That's got to be real, right? You You got to work through that. You got to tell those stories. You got to start those unconventional openings. You got to put all of that in place. Well, that's really exciting. You've had an amazing journey. So if anybody wants to work with you as they're looking for a coach, because I can see what you bring to the table is invaluable. I mean, just everything that we've learned here today. I got 2.5 pages of notes. I mean, it's been a great learning session for me. If someone wants to work with you as a coach, if someone is looking for you, to educate them or their team or their sales team, I'm guessing that you work in those sort of areas as well.
Yeah.
How do they get in touch? What do they do?
So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn. So Fern Chan.
Yep.
On LinkedIn. You can go to my website, fernchan.com. And, there's a button that you can connect with me to book a call, and we'll have a chat, and then we can see how I can help you and how, help you get unstuck if you are stuck.
Everybody is stuck somewhere. On this topic, everybody is stuck.
But not everybody realizes they need the help. That's something I've also realized, right? I get a lot more women coming to me because I think they are aware that they are not articulating themselves in a confident way that some of their male counterparts do, because they'll just bullshit their way and then demand incredible things, and because they say it was just confidence and bravado, they get it. And the women are like, I'm like, yes, but you're underselling yourself. The other thing is you're not matching in the confidence in the way that you're speaking because you're hedging so much of your language. So for me, when I coach anybody, I sort of look, well, let me listen to your language pattern so I can hear your intonation. What are you saying? What are the choice of words that you are saying that you're either undercutting yourself or you are lending that impact, right? So if you want to make that impact, how can I position you so you speak like a thought leader and be seen as one?
I love that, being a thought leader. I think that's fantastic. All right, keynote speaking. You do it. Are you traveling all over the place? How does that work?
I am. So I just came back from Manchester, in UK, in the United Kingdom, and I gave a talk out there at a business mastermind. So it was kind of neat, among all these Mancunians. They weren't all from Manchester, but like a very UK audience with a few people from overseas. So it was really neat, right? I'm used to speaking to an American audience. I'm like, ooh, am I going to say a lot of things that may not land? But sometimes being the only one out of the many when you stand up like a tall poppy, it's a good thing. So that was fun. I'll be speaking at a Toastmasters event. I'm giving a keynote there. So that's a really interesting group too, because these are people who want to improve their public speaking, so they to be able to speak at their conference is a great alignment. So it's kind of fun. I love
Toastmasters is the real deal. I mean, that's where shy people are learning to script and to cut out the ums and the ahs and the
they have a counter for that. Yeah, they have somebody who counts your ums and ahs during a table talk, or like if you're doing one of their rounds. So they will have somebody who will make sure that you are aware of your filler words.
Toastmasters is an awesome organization. All right, so if someone's looking for you to come out and give a keynote, they're finding you on LinkedIn, they're finding you on the website, same way that they're looking for coaching, classing, teaching, all of that. All right, and the book, where is the book available?
You can get it on Amazon, but you know what? If you would like, I would love to gift your listeners a free copy of my book. I will give it to you in your show notes. Feel free to download How to Not Suck at Presentations as a gift to your listeners. Well, you can't pass
that up. Look, if you're out there today, you're listening to this show, you gotta download the book, because what I've learned in the last 45 minutes, hour has been incredible. I can't imagine what's going to unpack in the book. Get the download, do it. Connect with Fern, hit her up for coaching, speaking, incredibly talented, incredibly fun. I don't know how you got ready to rock and roll this morning, but this has been an awesome show. You've brought the energy. You've been absolutely incredible to hang out with. I got one final question for you. Since we know where you're hanging out on social media, we got a big whiteboard, a big billboard on the side of the road. You can leave one sentence, one phrase, one word with the world. What do you want to share with the world today?
Be the speaker that people remember.
Be the people that speak will remember. All right, give us another one.
Have a plan so your words land.
Have a plan so your words land. I love that. You know what? You've got some great things. Thank you so much for being on the show today. This has been the Entrepreneurial Journey. I'm your host, Dave Westcott. We are back 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every single Tuesday. If you like the show, give us a like, give us a share, drop your comments into the comment box. Fern, it's been absolutely incredible hanging out with you. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure coming on. Feel free to bring me back any other time.
I will, for sure. It's been fantastic.
Every CEO's journey has its Everest. The moments when the path forward feels steep, uncertain, and alone. With Sherpa CEO coaching, you don't climb alone. Our experienced coaches are your guides, helping you break through barriers, sharpen your strategy, strengthen your leadership, and build a team that can carry you higher. With tailored one-on-one coaching, strategic planning, and real accountability, your summit is within reach. Sherpa CEO Coaching, your guide to confidence, clarity, and extraordinary business growth. Get coached and learn more at sherpaceo.com.